talk, real relationship talks with Dr. Harmony and myself, Andre Paradis, from
Yeah.
the both sides of the United States. So why don't you introduce
That's
yourself?
awesome. We cover East Coast, West Coast. We cover
Whoop,
male and
whoop,
female. What else? What
whoop,
else can we do? What
whoop,
else?
whoop. I know, seriously. The whole dynamic, right? The whole dynamic. And through my experience, your studies, my studies. And again,
Yeah.
here, we're both here to bring clarity, to help alleviate the pain, the frustration, the confusion in modern relationships, because there's always been a male, female, man, woman, kind of collision throughout history. But now in our modern, in my this modern world, it's even worse. And you and I know why, but they don't know if they've not seen, they've not been privy to what used to be to what it is now. So all of this we'll try to decode, bring you some tools, bring you some ideas, bring you some concepts, kind of made you maybe think about things a little bit differently.
Mhm.
Because what we're talking about is nature, science, biology, psychology, anthropology, right? These are the things that are in the norm, I want to say. These are things that work better. So when we understand what works better more naturally, you with the modern style, in the modern world, this is really what we're going at. This is where we're going with this, right? You and I. So, Doc, why don't you introduce yourself,
So
please?
I'm Doc Harmony, the real Doc Harmony, and I, with Healthy Energy, Amazing Life Heal Company and the Queen Circle, and just been here committed to healthy relationships at work. When we have amazing energy in our life and we're just healthy and our brains are clear and there's none of that fog and confusion. It
Mm.
just makes it a lot better. And I think what's great, I think you have the same experience. I didn't used to always be this way, right? So.
Yeah.
So I can really testify how giving it all up, really works. Like, and what does that mean, giving it all up? Well, all those lies. And we really touched on this the 2 weeks ago, didn't we? About the
Hmm.
difference between, women and the femininity, and why do we have to be masculine to be successful? Why do we have to be masculine to be a boss bitch to be successful at work or in anything that we do? Why can't we be feminine? And I find that when I'm feminine and I'm in my proper role, which is what we're going to talk about today, because everybody gets confused about that. What? Barefoot and pregnant? Which is absolutely an amazing place to be, anyone, if you haven't tried it. And, I mean, what's wrong with that? But that's not what we're talking about. We're just talking about that proper role of energy, aren't we, Andre? It's
That's
just
it.
that
That's
proper
it.
role of energy.
And it's funny, I have a young lady, and introducing myself. My name is Andre Paradis. I'm in Los Angeles. My company is Project Equinox. And so you guys will be able to link and find both of us,
Absolutely.
go just Google us and you'll find everything.
Mhm.
But my job, again, like you, is to help alleviate pain and confusion and relationship dynamics in the modern world that makes everything more complicated, more difficult, more confusing, all of that. I mean, I see this every single day like you do. But I want to say something. I'm at the gym 5 days a week, and I met this young lady just a few weeks ago, 22 years old, right? And she walked in the space and literally just lit it up. I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
oh, 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 right? Feminine energy lights us up. It's a light bulb, like lighting up the whole place. She's just like
Mhm.
sweet, right? So I went right up to her because it's really uncommon in my world, especially in my gym, right? The women are like just boss babes and trying to be all whatever. And this loved it anyway. So I go right up to her, just like, who are you? What is this light that I see in you? You're a girl. And back and forth a little bit. And she's got a good family system. Her parents are very
Wow.
supportive, and we're taught. This is her exact word. 22 years old. She's like, I was taught, you know, to be and stay in my lane for my own sake. Oh,
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 right.
oh. Like those are the things I actually teach my clients, right? You can be in the
Mhm.
money lane or you can be love lane. You can't be both lanes. They're both going to suffer.
Mhm.
So you have to make a decision which lane you're going to be in, focus on the
Mhm.
most. If you're going to do money lane, that's fantastic, that's fine, but your love lane is going to suffer. If you do love lane, you're going to make less money, but that's what I think when I say that's when men come in.
Mhm.
We'll support
Mhm.
all of that. So no understand, nature again and what works best. That's what we're talking about. So
Mhm.
this this week we have a nice list of topics. Every other week we're going to come together, bring you some information. I call it dripping on you guys, dripping some information on you guys for you guys to start thinking or rethinking or kind of reevaluating, and that's the point. So today we're talking about the confusion about relationship roles, especially in today's world. So
Absolutely.
for the man, confusion comes into struggling with mixed signals about what's expected of them providers, partners, and emotional support. Like men, like what am I supposed to, right, really bring? Because the expectations are not realistic. And men come at me with, I don't, what's going on out there? Like, I don't understand what they want, right? And the other side is the pressure to figure it out while not always having the healthy role models for emotional partnership and know-how. So if you, for the man, I always say, if you didn't have a daddy role model who was masculine, who was a provider, who role model what a man does, lead in life, but respectfully, appropriately, right? Use the appropriate amount of uh, power, right? Because women are afraid of men's power, but a good man uses that appropriately to provide and protect, right? So if you don't have a role model for this as a man, often there's some emulating masculinity, too much, too big, over the top, right? Trying to be masculine, and that really kind of disconnecting from, I call it daddy
Mhm.
energy, literally. This
Mhm.
necessary to be with a woman to create a healthy relationship and a healthy family. For the children needs daddy energy, not the warrior killer. Right. On the other side, for the ladies, is balancing your independence with the desires for emotional security and partnership. If you're going to be
Mhm.
independent at all costs, and then maybe later decide to be interdependent, right?
Mhm.
These don't work so well, as you know. We'll talk about this, and then the frustration with partners, the partners like the man retreating instead of showing up and being present and tackling long-term commitment. Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to go all over the
Well,
place with this.
like we
So,
talked last week,
yep,
about being connected and the emotional vulnerability and how that's different for both man and woman. And really, we're just really taking that another layer deep.
yep.
It's about identity confusion inside of how to be connected, inside of connection.
Oof.
And our hearts didn't get retrained for this, right? It's just been, like you said, there's been very few good examples, and just in fairness, I know your men are frustrated because they're like,
Hmm.
oh, we don't understand what they want. Well, we don't either, right? I mean, that's the right. I mean, I make a joke all the time, but it's so true.
It's true.
Women
It's
can't
true.
even say what restaurant they want to go to,
I
what
know.
movie they want to go to, and so it goes back to being feminine and being able to make your request, share your desire, and but do it in such a way that's not demonstrative or, just clear speaking, right? And I love, men are so, yes, they're confused. They're supposed to be soft but strong. They're
Right.
supposed to be, compassionate yet whip the bad guy's ass. I mean, like,
Right.
my God, are we trying to create bipolar, multi-personality
Right.
men or what, right? I mean, and so they're just uncertain. And I really have a lot of compassion for that because, then they start performing partnership
Mm.
versus embodying it, and really it's in the what women want is the embodiment, right? We want the embodiment.
Feel
And
safe.
but you really are correct, Andre, we have been just taught to be independent,
Mhm.
independent, independent, independent. And we build our own stability and then we get this voice, but regrettably, we're turning it into my way or the highway, right? I
Yep.
think that
Yep.
we
Yep.
see this all the time.
Absolutely.
And really our desire is to be chosen, to feel safe, to feel like someone is with us, not beside them. But we're not trained or taught or even having these conversations that you and I are having where they can learn, we can learn and remember how to still be independent and interdependent. And you can testify to this, Andre. Share. No man wants a weak woman. No man wants a woman that's incapable. No man.
Right.
You want to know that you can go on a week-long business trip and the house is not going to burn down by the time you
Right.
get home, right? I mean, so it's not like any good man, any strong man doesn't want an incapable woman.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that. But it is the ability to be interdependent, intertwined. And
Ta-da.
like we talked about, the two become one. What do you think?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's the game. I just did a TED Talk this week. I just two
There
days
you
ago, by
go.
the way. But it's
Congratulations.
thank you.
Wonderful.
That was a big deal, but that was exactly my topic. How do you integrate the masculine and feminine in the modern way that we complement each other, we help each other, we support each other? And I say this all the time. Femininity is not weak. It's the most powerful tool that you have as a woman. Like you could bring us to our knees with your femininity, not your boss babe energy. All right, that will resist and we shut down literally, and you think we're jerks. So it's your femininity that brings us forward. We'll provide, protect, cherish. We'll kill ourselves to keep you in that warmth, inviting energy that we delight in so much. So femininity is not weak, right? But in a culture where we used to ask little boys at 5 years old, so what do you want to do when you grow up? Right? What are you going to contribute to the world? Now we ask little girls at 5 years old, and we no longer ask the boys.
Hmm.
Right? We shame boys out of being masculine. See, this is not working.
Hmm.
So we could flip the script in the name of, equality, fair playing grounds, whatever. I mean, the concept was good on paper, but look what's out there right now. We flipped the script on everything. Everyone's confused, right? Women say, "Where are the good men?" Men are like, "Where are the good women?" We're both complaining about the same thing because masculine men, the ones that you want, are not interested in masculine energy women.
Hmm.
Right? And when you say ladies, like, I want a nice guy, I want a nice guy. No, you don't. The nice guy you
Hmm.
put in the friend zone in a minute because he
Hmm.
doesn't make you feel safe. Because
Hmm.
a nice guy is soft, and soft
Hmm.
men don't make you feel safe. So I always say, I say to man, and this is going to be a little weird, maybe, I don't know, but I say to man, forget, you talked about women don't know what they want, factual. I says, forget trying to figure out what they want, just do what they respond to.
Hmm.
And
Oh,
feminine responds to masculine energy. So, right, forget trying to decode it and asking her, which just step into your masculinity, and she naturally would slip into her feminine. So
hmm.
I just had this conversation with a woman who's, for the first time in her life, was in the presence of a masculine man, and like
Hmm.
she's now wearing pink. She likes fluffy things, right? She likes to
Hmm.
chill out. She's like, "You take the lead." Like it's just like she went from one side to the other side, right? Kind of woke up. She learned about her trauma and um, read some books about how to femininity and da 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 da. And now she's in a place where now she's magnetizing the appropriate energy for building a
Hmm.
life together. Masculine men,
Hmm.
feminine women, and
Hmm.
everything that comes in between, right? Because like I taught on my TED talk, it's the back and forth and the back and forth. Some things I do are more feminine, some things my wife does is more masculine, but we negotiate these things, we go back and forth. Ultimately, there's a yin yang in our relationship, right?
Hmm.
And everything else in between. So we're not talking about going back to the 50s, by the way, barefoot and pregnant and no say. That's not it at all.
Right. Well, let's talk about that though, because I think we do have a subtle difference, and that's great, so because Andre and I really love each other, and we could have these subtle differences, and it's like, you can be masculine in the kitchen and cook some amazing, I know some men that are just amazing chefs, and I'm just
Yep,
like, oh my God, this is just the best food ever. And not once do I go, ooh, that was a little weak side there. Not once do I think that, right? Not once do I see it as feminine even. I
right.
just see it as a strong man that's just highly skilled and able to, be an amazing chef, right? I mean, and it's like, I know women that are amazing. So my husband and I race cars, and they're
Yeah,
amazing race car drivers, right? I
yep,
mean, and they get out of their little race suits and they put on their little mini skirts and they drop their hair down and these locks come out. And
love
you're
it.
like, every man on the racetrack is like, dude, that's the hottest thing I've ever seen, right? If she took her helmet off and
Oh,
had a little butch haircut and
yeah,
put on overalls, they'd be like, okay, they'd treat her like one of the guys, wouldn't they? I mean, they would just treat her like one of the guys. And so
yep,
it is because she's a woman. It is because she's feminine. It is because she looks dainty. And then she could get in a race car. Holy cow.
yep,
And drive Road Atlanta and outrace these guys, man. That's super hot, right? So I really
absolutely.
want to emphasize that, you don't have to be a man to be successful. You don't have, and the men don't have to be, like a woman or feminine to be great chefs or take care of children.
Right.
Right? We talked about that.
Yep.
Your energy as a man for the children is is just they've
Essential,
already proven
essential,
over and
essential.
over and over that you lose a mom, it's tragic, don't get me wrong, there's nothing untragic about it, but you lose a dad or you don't have a dad in a home, the rate of men going to jail, being on drugs, being unsuccessful exponentiates.
Yep.
Well, they just recently did a new, I don't know if you heard about this one,
Tell
a
me.
new study where the women without a father in the home
Wow.
are ending up, they're the ones on OnlyFans. They're the ones with loveless relationships. They're the ones that
Yep.
can't keep a man because they've
Yeah.
never, ever had that strength. So I,
Yeah.
as a woman, want to emphasize and really, really call for strength and masculinity and decisiveness. But and of course you have to listen to us. Of course there's that partnership. That's where internet, and but it's like if just that strength, and I really like you to hone in on that because I think that that is so important.
I mean, that's sort of what we're made of, right? We're like bigger and stronger to provide and protect. I mean, that's nature at its best, you know. So the system again is yin yang, where I'm going to kill
Hmm.
myself out there to take care of the family, right? Bring
Hmm.
some food, bring some bacon, right? Like bring in the bacon,
Right.
kind of like the money, the sustainability. I'm in charge of the logistical part of life, of the machine of life to survive. On the other side, I need my wife to support the system in the way that a woman supports the system. Do you know what I mean? She's she doesn't cook. I cook, by the way. Good one. Like, I'm the chef, right? I'm French, right? She takes care of the numbers. She's better at this. She's more
Right.
detail oriented. Makes me nuts, right? So we mix it all up, kind of thing. But again, we're not the same. We complement each other in every way.
Hmm.
So her job is really, well, she works less on purpose, right? Because I always wanted her to be in a relaxed space, right? When she's overwhelmed, I lose my wife. When she's
Hmm.
anxious, I lose my wife. When she's like works too much, I lose my wife, and we all
Hmm.
lose her. The kids lose her. She comes
Hmm.
home, she's not able to be present because she's all, you know what I mean? So I design our lives where she works part time, and then she could also be a mom and a wife, right? And so that's having it all. And she delights in her job. She's a ballerina. She teaches, two colleges, and she mentors young students in the world of ballet. That's her passion. She's been doing this since 6 years old. So she gets to
Hmm.
live her dream, take care
Right.
of, nurturing these students, right? And then, when I was working the 12-hour shift, my last business, she'd pick up the kids at 3 o'clock. She'd take them home,
Mhm.
give them a snack, do their homework. My favorite memories, and I think I shared that before somewhere, maybe here. Some of my favorite memories. I used to leave the house at 7 a.m. and I rolled back in the garage at 7 p.m. That was a 12-hour day, just
Oh,
Monday to Friday and half on Saturday, whatever. And I know some guys who would complain about that. How come I have to work so hard? And that's the modern man who's not touched, been touch with his masculinity. No judgment, just what it is. But I always pull up in the garage, right? And I'm in California, and so 7 o'clock in the middle of summer is still bright light outside. So I remember pull up in my garage, right? Bah, 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 have a crazy car, bah, 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 turn off the car, open the door, and I go, oh, what's that noise? And I could hear the three of them play in the pool.
oh,
And I remember thinking, like, the satisfaction feeling that I had. I go, like, I did that. I've provided
uh,
that. And of
yeah,
course, she's provides all that she provides plus
yeah,
her salary kind of thing. But right,
yeah,
we created that together. But she's nurturing the children as I'm killing myself, and I'm proud of that. I am
yeah.
proud of that. I don't mind it. I'll do it every day, week after week, because
Hmm.
the life that we create together is absolutely fantastic. So
And
what do
I
we
think
fight?
that a really good point, though, to really remember for the women that are taking that on, that doing everything, they're not marrying men, they're not committing to men that, are willing to be a provider, willing to go that extra mile, takes pride in that, right? They get so burnt out.
Oh my
It
goodness.
might be, it might be cute. It might be cute for the first, whatever, 6 months, 6 years, however long that woman
Yeah,
can last. But she is just going to run out of energy.
right.
We are just not designed to be the breadwinner, to be the provider, to be the nurturer, to have the children, to do, and this feminist lie, oh, you can do it all.
No.
Sure. At what expense and at what cost? And I will tell you that every single female, I love the story that you shared about the woman who finally was with a real man, right? In a
Yeah.
masculine energy. Every female that I have worked with that has been in the Queen Circle class or I have given consultation for, every woman that has let go and said, "Okay, I trust you. I respect you. I appreciate you." It is like in 6 weeks they're calling me. They're going, "Oh my God." He like first of all, they're so stress-free. They're so happy and delighted. They're like, "This is the best gift I have ever gotten." I mean, they are knocked off the rock. And then I always love I always wait for this, well, Andre, they go, "And it's so sexy." And I'm like, "Of
Right.
course it is. Of course it is."
It's funny because I want to say this. I love the fact that you're in the world of race cars, right? We're talking about women working like men, right?
Mm.
That burns you out, kills you, right? And because actually, if you're going to have it all, the way the culture is telling you, you have two full-time job. You work 40, 50 hours a week trying to
Oh,
make a salary. Then you come home, job number two kicks in. You know what I mean? Taking the nest, the children, the rides,
right.
two full-time jobs. Twice a year, I promise you, twice a year, some woman calls me and she's like, I need your help.
Right.
Something's wrong. I go, what's wrong? She goes, well, I have everything. I have a six-figure job. I work, I'm blah, 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 blah. She goes, I have a husband. I have two children. I have a beautiful house. We have the life. I go, what's the problem? She goes, well, I'm feeling hollow. I'm
Yep.
disconnected from my own spirit,
Yep.
right? I'm not present. I'm unable to be present, right, with my family, with my kids. I'm
Mhm.
exhausted. I come home and I can't even be
Exhausted.
there. I'm exhausted. My job is starting to suffer. My family
Right.
still suffers. I see that.
Right.
What is wrong with me? I have everything that everybody says I should have. And I go, honey, you have two full-time jobs. It's unsustainable,
Mhm.
unsustainable,
Mhm.
unsustainable, right?
Right.
So you have to make a choice and
Mhm.
adjust somewhere. But back to the energy and talk about the nature of a woman's body. Are you ready? My favorite analogy, and again, the fact that you're in the world of race
Yeah,
cars,
yeah,
it'll
yes.
fit right in. So you're familiar with Formula One race cars, right?
Yes.
For the ladies listening, if you're not, it's like, it's the four tires with the guy in the middle and the engine behind him, right?
Right.
It's not a stock car. It's like this four tire. These cars go 200 miles an hour, but these cars are propelled by jet fuel, not regular
Hmm.
gasoline, jet fuel, right?
Hmm.
So in a nutshell, that's a man. Our
Hmm.
physiology is with testosterone. We're race cars pumped with jet fuel that makes us able to fight, push, compete, force, 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 go,
Hmm.
go, go, right? For days, for weeks, for months at a time to compete, to push, to get ahead, right? We're built for this, like a Formula One race car. Now, we invite you ladies in the race. Come on, girl, you can join the guys. You can be one of the guys, right? But you rolled onto the the racetrack in your Toyota Camry, four-cylinder. Right? And you get in the race, of course, absolutely. You go, girl. We invite you in. But you're gonna floor that thing. You're gonna do a bunch of loops, and then the engine's gonna explode because
Right.
it's not built for that, and
No.
it's not built for that kind of. In a
Mm-mm.
nutshell, that's what I call the difference physiology, biologically between men and women. We have the
It is.
testosterone to do it. You do not. So you end up
It
living
is.
and pushing and competing with adrenal energy off your adrenal glands. So it's a squirt every time you need it. Every time it's a squirt in your
Hmm.
bloodstreams, and eventually that not only burns you out, but it opens you up to all kinds of sicknesses.
Hmm.
All my ladies in their
Yes.
40s plus that live that kind of lifestyle have some
Yes.
kind of ailment, some kind of
Yep.
ailment, from
Yep.
little to like terrible, like cancer,
Yep.
right? In the name
Yep.
of the new modern way to do a living, women are burning
Hmm.
out. And by the way, in that burnt out, exhausted, anxious, not present, right? Don't know who I am right now because my body's hollow and empty. This
Yes.
is when you lose us.
Right. Well, I'm so glad you said, I was just, God, we're just so synchronicity. It's just amazing. Women are leaning in for clarity, consistency, and presence, right?
Mhm.
But because they're so exhausted, it's not coming through genuine. It's not coming
Yep.
through authentically. It's coming through almost like desperate or not even desperate, just like needy or
Hmm.
demanding
Demanding.
and then the man steps back because he's like, whoa, how do I manage this without me drowning or losing myself?
Mm.
And then there's this vicious cycle, pursuit, withdrawal, misinterpretation. And the problem is menopause is starting to hit around 40,
Oh,
40, anywhere
yep.
between 35 and 45. We're losing our juice, i.e. estrogen. Men
Yep.
are not losing their juice. So they're the same. I think you've said this 100 times, Andre. You marry the man, he's the same thing 50 years later. He hasn't changed. The woman, she's gone through 50 cycles. I mean, like, who knows how we're going to end up and be like, right? And let me deviate for a second. That's the greatest gift your man will ever give you is that opportunity to evolve and grow and discover the best gift, one of the best gifts my husband has given me is just to stand for the commitment for our relationship so strong, so solid, so firm that I had the opportunity to grow and develop and become this better version of myself because I can't, this foundation of love, this foundation of just, my gosh, he just thinks I'm just the best thing that ever happened. But most women really have end up in resentment and
Right.
silence
Overwhelm.
over based on assumptions. Oh, he doesn't love me anymore. He doesn't want me anymore. He doesn't care. Yes, he does. He's just confused.
Right.
He's as confused as you are if you would
Right.
be honest. And the other thing, and I'll end with this because it's just horrible. Women are not getting the help and having the conversations that they need. They're not having honest conversations. They're not this is what I hear. I'm sure you have certain things that you hear from the men all the time. This is what I hear all the time. Why do I have to change?
Yep.
Why do I have to change? Well, I don't know because what you're doing's not working. I
Hello.
mean, I will. You want me to become a butterfly? I'll be a butterfly. You want me to stand on my head? I'll stand on my head. I will do whatever it takes because I love my husband. I love my relationship. 24 years later, we have a sacred aspect to it that would not have happened with all the grit, the grind, the conversations, the
Woo. Amen.
tribulations, the ups, the
The
downs. People ask
growth.
us all the time, what is the super glue? Well, it ain't the trips. It's not the good times.
Right.
It's the forgiveness and grace
Yeah.
that
Conflict
was given
resolution.
during the difficult times.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we really are in a generation where no one was properly taught how to meet each other, right? And I know you really talk about that a lot with your men.
No, absolutely. So I just want to go back to why do I have to change line, right? It cracks me up. So I'm going to say this, ladies, with all the love in my heart, do not get triggered. I'm on your side. I'm not trying to trigger you.
He is, he
I'm
is.
explaining how things show up, turn out that why you say, ask questions like this. So why you have to change? It's not that if it's not working for you, right? Typically, what's happening is you're approaching the man in a way that's
Mhm.
disrespectful. And when
Mhm.
you approach a man disrespectfully, and again, no, it's a little bit of tedious, something I teach the women because you don't know what disrespect a man you're not aware of because it doesn't disrespect you. The same way that we hurt your feelings and you think we know what we're doing, we have no idea. Nobody
Mhm.
I know who's normal wants to hurt his girlfriend's wife's feeling. Like that's ridiculous,
Mhm.
right? But we don't know what hurts your feelings because we're not wired that way. You don't know what disrespect does. Do you know what I mean? So my point is, when a man feels disrespected, unbeknownst to you, we shut down, we pull back, we stop talking, right? We
Right.
go numb. And then you feel like, oh my God, he's not present anymore. He's not, right? Oh my God, right? And then instinct kicks in with, I think he's trying to leave me. I don't know what he's thinking about, but obviously he doesn't like me, doesn't want to talk to me, da 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 da. That's
Mhm.
not working. So
Mhm.
again, understanding whether, by the way, it's not, it's whoever is in pain the most that has to change and learn this. Because
Right.
sometimes men come at me with, I had one, he's, this is months ago, and he's like, I need your help. My lovely wife of 10 years, right? She was always sweet and supportive and just the love of my life. And I came home and she's like, hi, babe. He goes, now I come home, right? She looks at me. She goes, oh, it's you. Rolls her eyes and goes in the kitchen. He goes, she hates me. But he says, I don't understand. I go to work every day. I come home every night, right? I bring the bacon. I do everything right. Take care of everything. Like it's just like the car, the house, with it, right, right. I don't cheat. I've never cheated. Like I'm the good guy. Why does she hate me? And I'm like, you poor bastard. I want to say like, I promise you, because we're men and we don't understand a woman's
Right.
wiring system and operating system. I go, I promise you, I could guess it. She feels like, you take it for granted. You don't see all the stuff that she does in the house. You don't really talk to her anymore. So she feels disconnected and unsafe. Danger, danger for a
Mhm.
woman, right? So, and you come home, but you kind of not really with her like that, 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 that. So everything that she needs to be good and safe, you stop doing because not because you're a jerk. I know you're tired. I know you work all that stuff, but what she needs is what you don't provide. So you have to, and there was 8 things that he was doing
Mhm.
off, and it's like, wow, do I have to change all this? I go, yeah, yeah, dude, right? Because he's the one suffering. He called me, not her, right? So if it was the other way around, it would be the same thing, right? I don't. He doesn't respond to this. He fights with this. I'm trying to tell him he changed. He gets mad. He walks away, right? Then you have to learn. But I want to say this in a nutshell, right? We don't get our feelings hurt. We get disrespected and we push back. You get your
Mhm.
feelings hurt, and now you want us to change because we're the reason why we got hurt.
Mhm.
So this is like, right? So you put that on us to change, and you want us to change because we made but we don't understand what that is, right? So
Mhm.
I would say understand. I want to say change your approach, but like I said, women like nag men to act different to help better. I mean, how does that working out for you?
Right.
Nagging doesn't work,
No,
right? So start demanding and commanding him and push him around.
no.
That doesn't work. Start mothering him. That doesn't work, right? Start pushing him around. That doesn't work. So everything that your frustration turns into in order to make him act different or act right or change is exact opposite of what works. So that would be a very smart thing to do to learn that.
Mhm.
And we go back to why do I have to change? Because you don't know, you don't have those tools. So it's not changing, it's learning. So again, both sides have to learn depending on who's asking for help. So if you're suffering more and he seems to be aloof, maybe you should look into it.
But I think what you just said something really important. It's not, we're really not changing. We're really just redeeming our personality.
Yeah.
We're just
Adjusting.
we're really not going to do, but we're just learning new tools, right? So I'm going to use that. I'm stealing one from you, Andre, again.
Steal it. Take it.
And it is, you don't have to change. You just have to learn new tools. Your husband loves you, and that's the one distinction. A man will stay. It's very rare nowadays that a man files for
Yeah.
divorce.
Yeah.
80% are filed by women.
Yep. Yep.
And because they're missing this conversation, and you really hit on a lot of, if you're dating out there, we should drop these questions I'm getting ready to say in the chat and
Yeah.
let everybody, because it's like, what does partnership actually look like to you? Who's having that conversation?
Yep.
When you say support, what does that feel like in real life? And then you take those two and you put it together. What do you need from me to feel secure? And what do I need from you to feel respected, right? So we're covering what women just want to feel safe and secure. At the end of the day, safe
Ta-da.
and secure, safe and secure. And then a man wants to feel appreciated and respected. So
Yep.
having, before getting married, before getting involved, before even sleeping with someone that you think is a long-term
Oof.
commitment, please ask this question. What do you need to feel, if you're a man, what do you need from me to feel secure? And if you're a woman, what do you need from me to feel respected?
Hmm.
But don't get involved
Absolutely.
and then not give respect because you don't like the lifestyle or you don't like the
Right.
way he's being. Well, and the other thing I would really want to note on is learning from these types of conversations, Andre. When I go to my husband and I say, "May I share?" First of all,
Yeah.
I always ask, "Is it a good time? Are you hungry? Are you tired?" No,
Yeah.
and is this a good time to talk? I think it'll take about 10 minutes. That
Yeah.
way he knows I'm not going to belabor him for 2 hours and waste his time, right?
Yeah.
And so, and I go, and this rarely happens, but this hurt my feelings. And
Hmm.
um and sometimes he doesn't get it, like you just said, they don't get it. He's like looking at me and give me that
Why,
look.
why does that bother you? You should
Right,
let that
like,
go. It's kind of
what
silly,
what
right? Where
right,
you're too sensitive, right?
right.
By
And
the way, man, that's what's not working. Don't ever do
right,
that.
and don't say that, don't
Don't
say
ever say
you're
that.
being too sensitive.
Yeah.
and and so what I do is I just say, well, let's look at it from the other turn it around. And normally, that's all I have to do is just say, hey, if this situation was the shoe was on the other foot, and he goes, oh, I never looked at it that way.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I have given him the opportunity, which is respect, right? That's respect,
Yep.
to just clean that up. And it has never happened again. When I have come to him cleanly with clean, clear communication, it has never happened again. When
Yeah.
I've come at him like, what were you thinking? Oh my God, I would never do that. Yada, yada. Guess what, ladies? It's happened again and again. Because he
Right.
don't hear that, right?
Right. Right.
So I think it's just in that question, really figuring it out.
I call it having each other's back, right?
Right.
I was talking about this yesterday. Like the people who succeed in a relationship, regardless of, orientation, by the way, which is just very interesting to me, right? But people who succeed in long-term relationship, healthy, happy relationship, long-term, right? Thriving. You ready? Each partner has the other one's back first.
Mhm.
I want you to win, and you want
Mhm.
me to win.
Mhm.
So that brings a whole different dynamic and questioning. Do you know what I mean? So if I want, instead of getting mad at you, instead of me trying to change you and make you act right, correct you, right, for my comfort. Do you know what I mean? Because we tend to do this at each other because, men will say, you're too sensitive. I can't tell you anything. You need to relax and let that go. You want to kill us when we do this. On the other side, women like, he doesn't care. He doesn't talk to me. He gives me one answer. He's shallow. He's cold. He doesn't love me. That's not it. We're different,
Right.
right? Got to think.
Right.
So having each other's back is literally kind of like, what do I have to do and be for you to be good? Because that's my
Right.
interest is for you to be good. Because when you're good as a man, right? When my wife is good, if you're good, I'm good. If you're happy, I'm happy. If you're at peace, you bring me peace. And we'll
Right.
kill ourselves, right, in order for you to stay in that energy because that's what actually lifts our spirit. So
Yeah.
tell us how you feel when things feel bad, respectfully, kindly, quietly. Don't yell, don't scream, don't demand, don't command, don't dig your heels, don't attack. You attack a
Yeah.
man, you're forgetting you're attacking a warrior. He's going to push back, and even if you're right, you're going to lose. That does not work, right? So approach him kindly, respectfully. Do you have a second? There's something that happened yesterday. I didn't like it. Kind of hurt my feelings. I don't know if that's what you meant, but that's how I took it. And he's going to go, what? And you're going to repeat it, right? Because he's got to remember it because it hurt
No.
your feelings, but that was 24 hours ago, right? Don't wait too long. Don't wait 3 days, 5 days. He's not going to remember it ever. And then you really think he's a jerk because you remember very well, right? So that's again, know your audience, right? So go out shortly after when this happened, when you said this, made me feel like this, it hurt my feelings, I didn't like it, da 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 da, right? If you could like help me understand, if that's really was your intention, right? That's respect. And again, you're pointing the finger at you, not trying to point the finger at him. Like he has to change you. You tell him how you feel. A natural man provide, protect, cherish, give support. Wants you to be good. Wants you to be happy because when you are, he is. So
Yep.
that triggers his instinct to provide and protect and to be the hero. Hello,
Yep.
right? And you go right. And then when you do this, you get two results, right? Either he didn't pay attention and he missed it,
Mm.
right? And we do it all the time. I all constantly forget stuff. And my wife's like, really? How many times did I tell you? I'm like, oh, sorry. Like, it's not important to me, so I forget stuff. You know what I mean? It's not on my radar. But when that hurts her feelings, because if you really care for me, you would. Okay, got it. So I'm sorry. I'll try to do better. So you get an apology and or an explanation of what happened that nothing to do with what you concluded, right? What I was doing, I'm so sorry you got your feelings hurt. That's what I was, I get, that's what I was thinking as I was doing. So I didn't mean for you to take that personally. I was explanation, an apology, and then you can put it behind you. This is what healthy couples do. If you have each other's back, you approach each other respectfully, kindly, right? He gets to cherish your feelings. You get to respect his brain. Two different machines come together and then clean it up, as opposed to attack, push, come, like we just said.
Totally
Oof.
agree. And I think that the last few things, really women stop competing with your husbands,
Hey,
competing and um it doesn't work. There's just I just really look and relish what my husband is so great at, right? And
right.
just really concentrate on that. And then he just really looks at what I'm so great at. And the tit for tat doesn't work either, does it?
It does not.
When a woman says I forgive but I never forget, that you might as well just get divorced right there and then
Right.
because it's not
So,
going to work. It's just not going to work. I am an imperfect human being. My husband is an imperfect human being and trying to pretend like either one of us is perfect in an imperfect world is a setup for failure. And
absolutely.
without forgiveness and without grace, nothing is possible.
Mm.
Nothing is possible. And I think that, loving my husband and being loved by my husband because of my imperfections, with my imperfections, that is way more powerful than some dude who thinks I'm so cute or hot or something and love. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
shallow
Right.
in comparison when here's my husband who knows me, knows my flaws, probably even better than I do, to be
Hmm.
honest,
Hmm.
and loves me so, I mean, he just loves me so much,
Yeah,
in spite of it.
as you are. That's so.
Yes.
If I may just
Yes.
jump in here because it's perfect opportunity. I think again a little teaching moment, ladies. Loving you, all of you,
Yes.
all of you, all of you. But get this, as a man, when we get to know you, and we decide this is my woman, right? I know her quirks, a little like her little like kind of ridiculousness here and there, kind of thing, right? But if there's no deal breaker, when we decide to take you on, to marry you, to make you ours, we buy the whole package. We buy you with
Mhm.
all whatever it is that we call somebody might call flaws. Like my wife has this thing where if you cut her off, right? If you cut her off, like in a conversation, like she will snap at your butt so fast. because that was her modeling when she's a kid. She has five older brothers, so she always got run over. So if you
Oh,
run
whew.
her over, man or woman, right, she'll give you one, two, three. She'll say, "Can I finish my sentence?" Do it again, snap. Right now, I love, like you said, right, those quirky things. I freaking love it. Like I've seen her do it at work before, and I see the wind up. Oh, oh, oh. And my friend Vinny, I'm like, Vinny, watch, watch. She's about to lose it. Watch, watch. It's hysterical. Watch, watch, watch. She's gonna lose it right now. Like the guy's really asking for it, right? Like, and I see it coming, but I think it's funny, right? I don't make her wrong
Yep,
for that. That's part
yep,
of her life. That's part of her
yep,
set, whatever, right?
yep.
So again, quirkiness, and so as long as there's no deal breaker, us men buy you complete. We don't try to change you. We know who you are. We don't try to change you. Men marry hoping she won't change.
Yep,
Women marry hoping she will change him or he will
yep.
change, right? So what happens again back to hurt feelings, right? We buy you complete, you buy us conditionally because
Right.
it's good until it's not good. And then, he needs to change, he needs to chat, he needs to change, that doesn't make me feel good. I don't like it. I don't like it. Right now becoming mothering, which is a kiss
Mhm.
of death. So again, instead of trying to change him per your comfort and your feelings, tell him what hurts your feelings, invite him into that space, and watch him just step right up and fix it for you.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
can't boss him around. You can't mother him. You can't demand. You have to invite, and the guy who loves you will adjust. Because again, when you're good, I'm good. When you're happy, oh, good Lord. When you're at peace, bring me peace. And I want
Right.
to come home to you as opposed to go, oh, I wonder what kind of mood she's in.
Right.
Just see the difference? It's your choice, really. It's two different lives. Same
I
guys, same
agree.
setup, two different lives.
I agree.
Which
Well,
one do you want?
you said something really important. My husband and
Woo!
I have been talking about this, and we're gonna have to save this for another podcast because we're
Yes,
at our time.
yes.
But how does it we've been really working on the whole mothering thing.
Oh, yeah.
I found myself lately going, I'm not mothering you, I'm just trying to help you and remind you to get your back. So it's like
Which is mothering.
right, right. So we really need to talk about that and like do
Yes.
some real live examples. So the next couple of weeks,
Oh,
maybe I'll
yes.
write down some examples. It's like my husband is very untimely, so I'm like, babe, you have like 15 minutes. I'm not mothering. I'm just trying to help you, and it's so funny. And he laughs, because he's like, okay, babe. And I'm like, okay, but it is, there is, and I asked him, and this was really serious. I said, driving is a really good example. Hey,
Mm,
babe, do you see that car or stop? Something like that.
right.
Wonder if I didn't say that and he didn't see it. That was kind of like my question. Right. Wonder if I didn't get his back because I didn't want to be mothering. You know what I mean? I think that's a
Yeah.
great conversation with some real live examples.
Oh, I got a bunch for you. I have a bunch, and
Okay.
right down to right what mothering looks like, phrase after
Okay.
phrase after phrase.
Okay.
Because again, unless you understand it, man, the reason why it's disrespectful, right? Like it's sort of like a natural, like you want to help, you want to make him
Yep.
aware, you want to make sure that he knows, you don't want to take risks, you want to be safe, right? Uh, and yeah, there's a bunch of really uh good tools that we can bring forth with that topic. So I have it written down. Next time we talk
Okay.
about, what mothering looks like, why it doesn't work, why it's insulting, and how to do it differently for
Right.
better results. As you know,
Right.
because all these things will pop up, but if you
Yep.
panic and you jump at him, you're gonna get instant pushback, and you're gonna think
Yep.
he's a jerk.
Yep.
No, he's just a man. You have to approach him in a way that works for men, and I call that
Right.
Manglish. I teach Manglish, understand the language of man and respect,
Yep.
something that most aren't aware of. So that said, darling, thank you for another great
Well,
episode.
amazing. So much fun. And I just think it's just so delightful and just what great conversations. And if nothing else, I know it just keeps me and my relationship just much healthier, much more whole, much more complete. Just the reminders of it all, right?
Right,
Just the
absolutely.
ability.
And to continue to do what works as opposed to constantly colliding against what doesn't
Mhm.
work and thinking the other person is misbehaving. That's not it.
Yeah.
Two different machines, complementary, not competitive, competing. That's the
All
difference.
right.
If you come complementary, you dance together. If you compete, you fight together.
Amen.
It's really that
Well,
simple. That
it
said,
is. All right. I'm
I'll see you in a
Dr.
couple of
Harmony.
weeks.
This is Andre Paradis. And what was the title today?
The title was hold on
Real
a
Talk
second. Yeah, I know it's real talk, real relationship talk, uh, with Andre and
Harmony.
Dr. Harmony. So yes,
All right.
with that, in a couple of weeks, we'll do
Yes.
one more, and we'll talk all about mothering. Dum dum
Mothering. All
dum.
right.
Thank you, everybody.
Ciao.
See you soon. Bye.